Chief Justice upholds boundary changes. Pilot denies human trafficking charges. And government won't change terms of oil contract. I'm Enrico Beaufort, and this is Uncut News. See news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-615. The Chief Justice of the High Court has dismissed APNU's attempt to postpone the local government elections over boundary grievances. The Chief Scrutiny of APNU, Carol Smith-Joseph, claimed that changes to 37 boundaries in 19 local authority areas by GCOM were done in violation of Article 72 of the Constitution. However, the High Court concluded that GCOM did not have to follow the criteria outlined in Article 72 and that APNU's claims were without merit and prejudice. During the 2018 local government elections, the coalition created new NDCs as well as collapsed and merged some NDCs, which the PPP had protested at the time was for political reasons, according to them. 14 areas were affected in 2018, but now boundary changes will take effect in constituencies across regions 1 through 7, whilst regions 8 to 10 were left unchanged. In 2018, there were 1,192 councillors in 596 constituencies. This will be increased to 1,220 councillors in 610 constituencies in this election. U.S. authorities have returned the cell phone they confiscated from Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs Mae Toussaint Jr. Thomas when she was in transit to China in April at the Miami airport. When contacted, an official confirmed yesterday that the phone had indeed been returned. However, sources report that while the phone was returned to Thomas, her visa revocation still stands. So she won't be going back to the US anytime soon, even though she got her cell phone back. But if I was her, I wouldn't use that. Lord knows what they put on that phone. Just saying. Dominican Republic-based airline SkyKonan, which was recently given the green light to operate on the Guyana-Canada via Dominican Republic route, is gearing up for its inaugural flight tomorrow. According to reports, SkyKonan will conduct its first commercial flight into Guyana with passengers from Canada. The airline is also gearing up to commence flights from Guyana to Houston, Texas, via its hub in the Dominican Republic. Over the next 2 to 3 years, GWI aims to ensure widely available access to treated water. The government has already spent $14.5 billion this year expanding water services across the nation. GWI has a goal of providing 90% of the nation's population with access to potable water by 2025, so they want to do this within the next 2 years. As part of this effort, 13 new treatment plants will be constructed across the nation, and an additional 12 existing plants will be upgraded. Now for crime news. Here's a disturbing development. Apparently, our nation's schools have students who are carrying as much contraband as the Camp Street prison. Today, the police conducted Operation Shakedown at several secondary schools on the East Coast to tackle antisocial behaviors exhibited by students, resulting in violent encounters. The operation involved random searches and lectures on topics such as violence and crime committed at schools, gang fighting, and cybercrimes. Several prohibited items, including suspected cannabis, knives, condoms, and lighters, were confiscated during the searches. Independence Day is coming up, so it's time to declare independence from breakdowns with Powered Automotive. They have reliable, high-quality truck parts and spares for your truck at amazing prices. Visit them at Lot 490 EE Eccles, or call or WhatsApp them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Tired of waiting on hold, tracking down a delivery driver, or carrying cash for your food orders? GTEats is here to make your life easier. Guyana's first cashless food ordering and delivery app. Choose from Georgetown's top restaurants, pay securely with your card, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. With the convenience of being able to order from your phone and the added feature of tracking your order, GTEats is the ultimate solution for all your food needs. Download the app on Apple and Android stores and start ordering the easy way today. The badly decomposed bodies of Patrois Ross and her 13-year-old daughter were found in a rented house in Providence, East Bank Demerara this morning after the landlord was unable to contact them and a strong stench was detected from the building. The police were called and the bodies were discovered inside of the house. The police have yet to announce if they suspect foul play was involved. Nonetheless, we'll update the story as the details arise. And as an update to yesterday's report on the local pilot and businessman Orlando Charles has denied allegations of human trafficking and expressed surprise at the wanted bulletin issued by the police force. Charles claims that the allegations stem from a pay dispute with Venezuelan workers and that he was never responsible for their movement in Guyana. He intends to challenge the accusations and the wanted bulletin issued by the police, as he believes they were done just to embarrass him publicly. Now, over in the diaspora, a 28-year-old Guyanese man was arrested by the Surinamese police in Brokopondo last week after a Brazilian gold miner was fatally shot by the Guyanese man with a shotgun on May the 25th. The incident occurred while the two men were working on a gold field called Promilla. The arrested man claimed that the shotgun he was carrying had fallen and gone off, hitting and killing the gold miner. The Surinamese police were called in and the body of the gold miner was taken for an autopsy while the Guyanese man was arrested. The suspect has been handed over to the Capital Offences Department in Suriname for further investigation. Now for today's oil update. The government will not alter the fiscal terms of the draft model production sharing agreements for new oil contracts, despite some pushback from oil companies, more specifically Exxon. The new terms included a 10% royalty rate, a 65% cost recovery ceiling, and a 50-50 profit sharing between the government and contractors. ExxonMobil, which was granted a lopsided first oil contract, has provided feedback on the draft agreement, but has not revealed specific objections, but said that they objected to it nonetheless. The government has also rejected a request from some Indian companies for a discount on freight for the sale of Guyana's crude to India. So they gotta pay up, and they gotta pay full price. Another oil-related news. The Environmental Protection Agency has issued an enforcement notice requiring ExxonMobil's local subsidiary to provide unlimited liability parent guarantee insurance for its operations in the Starport block, in accordance with a recent ruling by the High Court. However, both the EPA and ExxonMobil are seeking to have the decision overturned, with attorneys arguing that the ruling was in conflict with environmental permit and the Act, and that the court had overreached its functions. Again, I'm amazed by the government's capacity to truly try to screw over its own citizens.
Robbery season might be over, but the streets are still mean. That's why you need to get security for your home or business with Sheriff Security. Sheriff Security has well-trained guards, armed and unarmed patrol, marine patrol, canine services. They speed even our drones. Why? Because your security is their highest priority. You've seen the rest, now hire the best. Hire Sheriff Security Service today.
Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Ghana, the region, the diaspora, and our youth it swaps. Last night I asked, should write-in candidates be allowed in constituencies where only the PPP is running?
But before we get to that, I'm proud to announce our latest addition to the Noble Army, Richard Singh, who is supporting us at the reporter level, the highest level of monthly support we've received so far. So thank you, Richard Singh. And also a special thank you to David Griffith, Dion Nascimento, Project Zero, and Dimitri V. I appreciate you all. And if you're watching at home and you'd like to support our movement, just hit the link in the video description.
Everett Lawrence says, wake up, Guyana. Vote out the PPP and PNG. It's time for a change. Indeed, so I guess he agrees. And Barefoot Wanderer talked about the clown in the pickup truck pulling the opponent's flags down, which of course was just straight absurd. And he also suggested that we start a weekly bloopers section, because Guyanese give you enough material so there's no need to make it up. You know, this place is just so absurd that I might seriously consider that at this point. Now for tonight's question. I want to know, where do you live? And what is an issue your local NDC is not addressing, but you know they should? In mine, they aren't cleaning the drains, and I only saw them come around just now, but of course because it's election time. But I want to hear from you. So think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.